You have made the choice to come to McKendree. You're going to be here for the next 4 or 5 years. There are really only two options for you. Are you going to look at this as a necessity to get a degree? Or are you going to soak up every moment of this time, leave your mark on this school, and let this school leave its mark on you? When I first arrived at McKendree, I remember during convocation, Dr. Dennis left a really important message with us. He said the things you will learn in the classroom are important, but it will really be the opportunities and experiences during your time that are going to stick with you the most. Last November, I was able to see that take place firsthand.
Hey McKendree family, hope everyone's happy and healthy right now with all the coronavirus stuff going on. My name's Wes Werner, for those of you that don't know me. I'm bringing this video for you today in lieu of not being able to present at Academic Excellence Day. So a little bit about myself. I'm a junior student at McKendree. I'm from Windsor, Ontario, Canada. I play on the men's D1 hockey team. I'm a goalie. I'm also really involved with campus ministries. I'm the vice president of Fellowship of Christian Athletes. I'm also part of the campus core ministries team, and I play guitar in the worship band on Sundays. So before I came to McKendree, I actually spent a year at the University of Windsor here, and so that made me a transfer student when I came to McKendree. And during the first spring that I was at school, I got an invitation to become part of Tau Sigma Honor Society. So for those of you who don't know about Tau Sigma, it's an honor society we have on campus that recognizes academic excellence of transfer students, but also just kind of helps transfer students get engaged with other transfer students on campus. I've been blessed with the opportunity to become president of Tau Sigma at McKendree, and it's given me a lot of great opportunities, but by far the coolest one was getting to go on a trip to Washington, D.C. for the Tau Sigma National Convention last November. So today I'm just going to be talking to you a little bit about the trip that I went on, and also tying it in with just a discussion about why it's so important to gain these experiences while you're at school to really help you grow and make the most of your time in university. Getting to go spend some time in Washington was just a great experience because, I get to visit some cool places being part of the men's hockey team, but those are business trips. You know, you're thinking about the game, you're trying to prepare your body for the competition that's taking place that night. This was a fun trip. I was obviously going to be busy and learning some new things, but it was an opportunity just to kind of, chill and explore DC as well, which I knew was going to be really cool. So one of the craziest parts of my trip was actually when I was on the flight to Washington. I was sitting next to this lady and, we just got caught up in that small talk that you have on a plane. And she actually told me that her son was a member of the Joint Chiefs of Staff. I didn't know what that was on the time, but once I got to Washington and Googled it, I guess he must be pretty important. So my first day in Washington, I got to do some pretty cool things. I'm not gonna lie, before I went to Washington, I thought the Smithsonian was just one giant museum. Come on guys, I'm Canadian, cut me some slack. It turns out there's like a bajillion of them. I'm definitely gonna need to go back to check them all out at some point. But I was lucky enough that I got to go see the Air and Space Museum, as well as the Museum of Natural History. One of my favorite stops on the first day was the National Archives. It was just so cool to see some of those important US documents like the Constitution, the Declaration of Independence, and the Bill of Rights. Unfortunately, they don't let you take too many pictures there. Since I wanted to make sure I looked professional for the conference, I was wearing dress shoes. And after just the morning walking around the city in those dress shoes, my feet were dying. I decided my only way to make it around the city and see everything I wanted to in the rest of the weekend was to ride the little scooters around. It was actually kind of funny. I got yelled at by a security guard at the Canadian Embassy for riding my scooter up their ramp. Sorry, bud. After spending the day touring around Washington, it was time for our first meetings that night. I was a little worried because I was the only one traveling from McKendree, but right as soon as I got off the elevator, I met a group of kids from Liberty and North Dakota University, and they were really cool, and we actually ended up becoming really good friends. Not only were we able to share ideas about Tau Sigma and what we were doing on our campus for our honor society, but we also got to share some pretty cool ideas about what our schools do as far as campus ministries. That night we got to hear from Lee, who's our executive director for Tau Sigma for all of the United States. And we also got to hear from Colby Keogh. He was the keynote speaker, just a really great presenter. It was awesome to hear his story. He was a former Tau Sigma member himself. Now he's actually a U.S. diplomat, and he's the president of YPFP, the Young Professionals in Foreign Policy. So the next day started off with listening to a few presentations from UCLA, Appalachian State, and Texas A&M San Antonio about just some really cool stuff that they've been able to do through Tau Sigma at their school. And I was able to pick up some, great information that I was able to bring back to McKendree and that our program at McKendree will be able to use in the future. Finally, we had lunch and everyone split off to go watch the Washington Nationals World Series parade, which it was pretty cool. We got to be there for that. After the parade, we went on a bus tour of the city. Here are some highlights. The next morning, I actually got to go to church with some of the friends that I met. And after that, we all said our goodbyes, but we've still been able to keep up with each other, and we still check in to this day. I'm just so grateful that McKendree, Tau Sigma, and my awesome advisor, Jenny Miller, gave me this opportunity that I could go to Washington, D.C. and learn all these new things and gather these new experiences that I could bring back to our school. It would be so awesome if just like every kid at McKendree could get an experience like this. At the end of the day, it's just so important to take advantage of every opportunity you're given throughout your time at McKendree. Any experience, whether it's a big one or a small one, just jump on it. You never know what you're going to learn. You never know what you're going to be able to take from it. It gives us another chance to learn, to impact our school, and maybe even change the world. Thanks for listening to my presentation, everyone. We'll see you back at McKendree soon.